Hi, my name is Matt Hartless, and I am the lead singer and guitarist of the band Matt Hartless and the Mavericks Assemble. We recorded an album called To The Mountain in 2019, but only released it in 2022 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In this podcast, we will be explaining what went into the album and what it all means track by track, as well as many tangents along the way. Enjoy. Hi, so with me today is the drummer of the Mavericks 7, Casey Burks.
Sup?
Don't wave at the microphone. We're not being filmed.
Hello, guys.
We're off to a good start here. We've also got Shelley LaFay, the violinist.
Hiya.
And we've got Matt Crichton, the bassist.
Hello.
And a quick point to note before we go any further, and I don't know if I can be asked to say this in every episode, but Casey actually played bass on these recordings and Matt played keyboards.
And Jess Megson
played the drums.
She's no longer with us.
She's no longer.
she's
not dead.
She's alive. She's fine.
She's alive and well, but
Hi,
she's
Jess.
no longer in the band.
Yeah, hi Jess.
So we're going to talk about Mavericks Assemble. Anyway, that is the first track of the album.
So this was one that I wrote. Thank you, Matt. Matsy. So the funny thing about this, I've been thinking about what I want to say about it, and one of the funny things was I just said to you guys, I want to write an intro track for the album, and you were like, sure. And it was just already agreed it was going to be on the album, and I was like very flattered by the level of trust placed in me, because I just hadn't even written at that point. I was just like,
well, I think if it had been rubbish, then we'd have vetoed it. But you know, like,
well, that's
we
good to
wouldn't
know.
just go, well, we made a promise. It's going to be.
This whole time I've just been like, maybe they're being polite. Maybe it's awful. But yeah, I can't even remember when I first came up with the idea. I just knew it had to sound intro-y. I knew exactly so it had to be short. I got the idea of intro tracks from AFI and Good Charlotte. Those are two bands that... Good Charlotte.
Oh my God,
I love AFI so much.
Because
oh
you're silver and silent. Sorry.
Fuck yeah. Yes.
Well, we've just been demonetised.
Davey Havoc might be completely fine with that. We don't know. Well, anyway, yeah. So they have intro tracks on all their albums, and I always thought that was brilliant because that kind of introduces, the kind of sets the tone, and almost because I love a concept album as well. Not that their albums are conceptual ever, I don't think, but yeah, it just kind of. It almost makes it like this is a body of work because we're introducing it with one thing rather than just being a collection of songs. I don't know, if you can see what I'm saying there with, the difference between the two things. But, for me, that was why I wanted to... So I've always thought, when I'm in a band, I'm going to do intro tracks for the album. So, yeah, that's why I wanted to do that. But yeah, I just kind of... I wanted it to sound upbeat, exciting, and a bit piratey.
I was going to say, it turned out a lot more piratey than I was expecting when you first proposed the idea. You're like, I'm going to do an instrumental intro. And I was like, is it going to be... the other songs that we have?
Nope.
No, it's going to be a pirate shanty of sorts. Some kind of
pirate shanty
dance on deck.
Yeah. Oh, that's the point as well, the name. I'm trying to think where that came from.
Mavericks Assemble.
I think just Avengers Assemble was coming out at the time, maybe.
It definitely...
So I think that's what it was.
Avengers Assemble that came out about 10 years ago. It wouldn't have been that.
No, did it?
No.
It did.
Yeah, it's 2011. Yeah.
Maybe I'd only just heard of it.
Man,
in 2018.
And I'm turning 75 this year then. Wow. I was just getting started.
But so I wrote, really, I just wrote the A music and the B music. So in folk music, that's just the first sort of couple of staves. What's the term?
Bars.
A phrase, I think.
I guess the verse and the chorus in this sense.
Well, they're both motifs, I suppose.
Yeah,
is what you'd say.
So I just wrote them and then
I need to remember to look this way because every time I say something, I keep turning around.
Shit,
and my voice is not going to be on this recording very much.
Oh wow.
Right. Okay.
Don't look at us. We need to get you some blinkers.
Blinkers,
a horse, like a spooked horse.
Matt Hartless and the Spooked Horses.
Oh yeah,
that's a good name actually.
For a few shows, we used to introduce ourselves by a different name in between songs. We should start doing that again.
Shelley LaFay and the Toast Office. That was a good one.
If I ever have an and the band, there's going to be Copilot Claude and the Wayward Professors. But I think for now it's
that's
just
quite
Copilot
cool.
Claude.
But I would say about that, Wayward makes it sound like they're shagging their students, which is frowned upon, if not quite illegal.
Yeah, but like,
okay.
you know, that's edgy, that's outlawry. You gotta do
But
stuff
not in like
that's
a
frowned
cool
upon.
way. In quite a like
I'm trying.
hashtag me too kind of way. Oh shit, what was I going to say? I had a point to make and you guys started with your
We're talking about motifs.
silliness.
I think we were talking about motifs.
I just wrote that bit and then we kind of put it together as a song, me and you, Matt, didn't we? Matt H. I'm
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
And you wrote the bit that it took me literally a year and a half to learn how to play. That bit. Diddly 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 diddly. Matt just added that.
Did
And I was
I?
like, well, I guess I have to learn how to play that. Now, fuck
I
me,
don't
I
remember
guess.
that. I
You
thought,
wrote that?
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought you just wrote
I
the whole
was so
thing.
angry.
It's all coming out now.
Because it was really good
Really?
and we had to do it, but I struggled with it so much, just because like all the kind of quavers had to be like exactly the same length, and that is not something that I'm good at. Well, I'm better at it now.
So did
I've
I.
had to learn that song.
I struggled with that a lot.
I
because-
was fine with it when I was on piano, because it's really easy on piano, because piano is a fast instrument.
Yeah.
And now I'm on bass, and I'm like, man, I was
This-
making fun of Casey this whole I wasn't making fun of Casey this whole time.
Judging
behind
her.
my back. So this is the thing, is like I'm a drummer now, but I used to play bass. So I'd never played bass at any point before I joined this band.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Matt just came up to me after a gig where I supported you guys and went, do you want to come play bass in our band? And
Yeah.
you guys were sick,
Yeah.
so I said yes. But
That was, I believe, that was the.
That was 3 years ago today, yesterday?
3 years ago, yesterday. Yeah.
bloody hell.
We were talking about this earlier, yeah.
Wow.
Because we should also point out today is Matt Hartless's birthday.
On the
Pew, pew, pew.
on the day we're recording, I'll point out.
Oh yeah,
on
not
the,
today when you're listening to it,
Yeah.
because that could be any day, right?
But we could
Yeah.
start his kind of official birthday vibes. You know, like the Queen. Do you want to
Yeah.
have 2 birthdays, Matt? Whatever day this goes out is now Matt's official birthday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a garden
2
party and all
birthdays,
this.
See, Matt,
Get
when
2
you
years
listen to
older
this
every
podcast.
year. I don't need that.
It's like the opposite of having a leap year birthday.
Yeah.
29th of February. Oh yeah, I'm 8 years old.
Yeah.
Just had a thought. I'm now the age my dad was when I was born.
Oh, wow.
I'm half my dad's age.
Where's
There
your
we go.
child?
What is
He doesn't know. He's got no idea. He's
Could
been
be
looking
anywhere.
for him for ages.
The cats, obviously.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Katia
The
and
cats,
Luna.
Yeah.
They'll probably be making an appearance at some point.
Some weird
Yeah.
genetic disposition that you've got there producing
Well,
those.
actually, Luna won't be making an
definitely
appearance
looks a
because
bit
she's
like a cat.
outside. But
No, the window's open.
oh, was it?
Luna
Yeah.
came
That's why
and
it's
sat on my
so
knee before
cold.
and no one noticed because you were all podcasting
Really?
so hard. I mean, you know.
Podcasting so hard. Anyway, back to the song.
Anyway, back to the track.
Yeah. You wanted tangents. You've got
I
tangents.
I am not complaining at all. I just felt like it went in it kind of hit a wall. With Matt just being like, the cat's sat on my knee.
Can I
Wow.
suggest a track direction if we're going back to the track?
Go for it.
Which is,
What would you like to say?
let's start talking about instrumental stuff, I guess. And I brought this up, and I don't have that much to say about this one on piano, apart from that it's like I was just channeling as much Pirates of the Caribbean as I could. So it's all like big,
Yes.
florid arpeggios and stuff like that. But I want Casey to talk about his bass bit, which I have
Which you then
faithfully
had to
learned.
learn.
Yeah, which I then had to learn.
So this is what I was going to say about that part that you wrote, Matt. Is this is the first
I don't think I did.
You did!
Take the credit,
I'm
take the credit,
telling
take the
you, you
credit.
wrote it!
this part that got written by someone who wasn't me. The da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da was the hardest thing I've had to play on bass in
Holy
this band.
shit, yeah.
It was very difficult
Same
because
for
a
me
lot
on
of
violin.
Yeah.
I don't know what the technical terms are because I don't play bass. But it was difficult, suffice
Yeah.
it to say. It's also the first tune where I went into it and said, right, instead of just like learning what the chords are and playing chord tones, I'm going to actually write a bass part. There's this one part where it goes to the A section for the second time, where I decided to make bass more of a feature. And make a feature out of my instrument. And wrote this little counter melody, which I just I was writing it and just sort of thinking, this is pretty cool, this is okay. And then I went home and played it to myself and I was like, oh wow, I'm really getting into this. And I played it straight for like an hour when I got home the day after I wrote it. I just was sat in bed with my bass, not even plugged in, just playing that on repeat. Just really got into a zone with it. I came back to rehearsal the next time and couldn't stop playing it. I played it like through the whole song. And I actually had to like force myself to stop playing it. Force myself to leave it alone for a little while. Otherwise I would have never stopped. But it's the first. I'm still playing it today.
Just to be able to hear it.
Yeah.
And all the other songs.
You can't see me, but I am just miming playing it this whole time.
Wait, how does it go, Casey? Is it the bit?
I
thought that's what you
On point acapella skills from Casey Burks.
Thank you.
I can't do that. Just saying.
I'm very talented.
Getting there.
But that was
That's your favourite bit on the album, right?
Is it?
That's one of my 2 favourite bits on the album.
Okay.
It's definitely my favourite part of this song. No offense.
No.
It's because it's my little baby. It's the first time I went into a song and just went, I'm gonna make this bit about me.
Yeah.
And
It's a powerful emotion, isn't it?
it's mine. This bit's mine. And now I don't even get to play it anymore.
Yeah. I literally stole your baby, and I'm bringing him up my own way.
I can't believe you stole my baby.
Yeah.
Didn't you struggle to learn it, this bit?
Not really.
All right, fucking shade.
No, it's not shade. Like I don't know. But what's it called? Something about bass playing and shade or something. I can't remember.
You said.
Oh, the one I struggled with was Nazdrave, which we're probably not going to talk about on this thing.
No.
When we do it live, there's this really long bass line in it, which embarrassingly I wrote and then really couldn't remember when we came to play it because we didn't play it for a while. Long story. And Casey has like the photographic memory vibes where someone like shows him a riff once 2 years ago and he still knows it. And I was sat there in rehearsal one time for like a long time, like 20-30 minutes. Casey was like patiently showing me this riff note by note, and everyone's kind of sat around waiting.
Showing you a riff.
This is my own riff.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that leads me to the other thing I was going to say about this song is that, like, even though I wrote this, it's the one I played the worst on the album. And it literally... So we started recording this album in 2019, and so like 2 years ago now, wouldn't it? Yeah, because I keep getting things on Time Hop.
Yeah.
It
wasn't like the beginning of November, like end of October, beginning of November.
Yeah. So we started doing it 2 years ago, and then obviously COVID happened, and so we recorded it over like a month, 6 weeks.
About 6 weeks.
Something like
Yeah. And then obviously we were like, we'll go back and do overdubs once it's coming together. But we also knew that our producer Ruben Holmes, big shout out,
yes,
to
Ruben Boggs,
Group Captain
he's my
Rubes, yeah. So he was going away for the winter, like to go snowboarding because that's what he always does. So we knew that there was going to be a gap of like a few months before he came back in like May or April.
Little did we know.
Yeah. While he was away,
all the borders got shut.
All the borders got shut, and everyone started dying. So then everything was just put on ice for a really long time until like a year later, and that's when we started doing overdubs and stuff. So luckily, in that time, I learned how to play the fucking song. Woo! And I listened to the original, and like honestly, it's so bad. So like just having that actual pandemic was actually quite helpful for me.
This is such a great time for like an obligatory plug, which is like, think how well she plays it live now, guys. So you should come to all of our live shows. Plugging.
I mean, the first few times we played it live, though, the bit like I would always panic with like the bit that Matt wrote, that bit. I would just go to pieces because I'd be thinking the whole song like, oh god, it's coming up, because everyone drops out and then it's just me. And the amount of times I just went and then everyone just had to carry on like that was meant to happen.
Keep going, guys. I'm just going to step away because I've somehow managed to cut myself and I'm just bleeding everywhere.
Oh,
okay. Why have you done that?
It's cry
Should
for
we
help.
just pause?
No.
He'll be 2 seconds.
Keep going.
Emergency.
Okay, Matt.
Reality. We're not.
This is reality, guys.
This is my
People
blood.
bleed sometimes.
Oh, dear.
Everybody bleeds sometimes. Yeah,
Wow,
sorry, that was weird. I don't know how that happens.
Do you not like picking the skin skin or something on your finger?
I don't know. Whatever it was, I did it absent-mindedly. But
Lovely.
I'm not sure if it came from my thumb or my finger or what. Just my hand was just brought. I thought my hand was a bit wet, and I just brought it up, and it was just covered in blood.
Wow. Is that? Do you reckon that's
Metal.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's an omen? What does that say about the album release? Like, how's it gonna go?
I'll be dead by the time it comes out. Or something.
No!
Or maybe it's you. Maybe it's
Jesus.
you selling your soul to the devil in it, and maybe it's the devil being like, "This album release is gonna go really well."
Yeah, doing my
But I
Robert
shall
Johnson
require
thing.
some
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert J.
But I'll be taking possession of your soul in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
Devil went down to my
Rockstar.
side. He was looking for a salt steel.
Do you know what? We should cover that song, and that would be actually really good. Mank it up a bit. Oh, you went from Manchester.
In case we don't say it after the note.
Well,
Money on the map. Money on the map.
Money on the map. But yeah, because like there's no famous bands from Manchester. We're actually doing it a favour.
Yeah,
we're the first band.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of our
Manchester.
city. Yeah.
Definitely not famous for music at all.
Yeah. Definitely way cooler than London.
Yeah. There's a couple of football teams who apparently have done all right in the past, but
What were you saying about Liverpool and Manchester the other day?
Oh, right, yeah. So there's a big argument between Liverpool and Manchester over who's the UK's second city.
This is where I. This is where I get what's the word? Not compromised. Conflicted
because you've got love for both
Liverpool
cities.
Connection.
But no, there's a big rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester about who's the UK's second city. So the Liverpoolians reckon it's Liverpool, and the Mancunians no, it's London.
Yeah,
because Manchester's number one.
Yeah.
And we were on a ranking a while ago by like Time Out or someone, and they put us as the third best city to live in the world. And I was so offended that they put us third. And San Francisco, Amsterdam,
To be
honest, really? I mean, I haven't been to San Francisco, but I have been to Amsterdam, and I don't know if I'd actually like living there. It's a bit like I suppose if you live like right in the city centre with all the tourists going past, that'd be probably pretty annoying. Everywhere else might be quite nice in Amsterdam. But I found it to be a bit.
As a tourist, I've only ever been to the touristy bits.
Well, quite, same. But I found it a bit intense. And there's not really a place like that in Manchester where like everyone goes and just, I mean, obviously there's like the city centre and there's bars where you'll get loads of piss heads go. Actually, I suppose Old Trafford actually is that for us, isn't it? That's where all the wankers go. or I'm not picking sides here. I don't support either team or the Etihad Stadium. It's getting that out there.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
No one in this room supports a Manchester team, do they?
Matt Hartless and the Swiss Footballers. That's a name for a band.
The Swiss
Footballers.
I support Stoke City because my granddad supported
Do you
Stoke
actually?
City.
I didn't know that about you. Okay.
Well, I mean, you're not exactly a massive football fan, so say
I don't really watch football, so when I do, it's Stoke City games.
I support Derby County, who may not even be a club by the time this goes out.
Yeah, that's so sad.
What's going on with Derby
I support
County
Liverpool.
now?
Basically, their owner embezzled loads of. Actually, I can't say that on the podcast, so I'll get sued for libel. Basically, the owner did some dodgy dealings and bankrupted the club. Basically,
Allegedly.
Oh no, he has bankrupted the club. The club is bankrupted. It's in administration.
But he allegedly did some.
Allegedly it was him.
Allegedly did. Well, no. It's been proven that he did some dodgy dealings by. No, because these things have been proven. So this is libel.
Okay.
The Football League have said that that Derby broke the club broke financial rules. So, yes, it is true that he's done dodgy dealings, and it is true that the club has been bankrupted. What I will say, though, is that this man is still worth about half a billion. Pounds.
Wow.
So, obviously, he hasn't been bankrupted.
And that's only Derby County as well. Imagine how much the fucking important clubs are worth.
Wow.
But,
like Stoke City, right?
Like Stoke City, right?
So, you can make up your own minds, but I'm just pointing out that there is a very wealthy man who had a football club and has made the football club very not wealthy, while he has continued to stay very wealthy.
All right, Gary Neville.
What we need to do is take their money away. And
what was the thing he said? They're all round the back with their weasels.
Oh yeah,
that was a really weird thing that he said when the
what was he
Super League
talking about?
thing was happening.
Round the back with their parking their weasels.
Parking their weasels.
That was it. Yeah, just
and
what was he on about?
That's not a better metaphor anyone's ever
That's
used
just-
before.
That's like a really
Yeah,
nasty
who knows?
euphemism of some kind.
Yeah.
Quite like
Hey, go,
it.
climb, park my weasel. No, you don't like it.
Well, I didn't like it anyway. But
Oh,
anyway, yeah.
that's upset me.
Anyway, corruption in football.
Sorry, Joey.
Let's move away from that because yeah, these be choppy waters. I think.
Yeah.
How did we record it? Feels like a long time ago. Did we just do it band and then overdub violin?
Yes. You did. That was the whole
That was weird.
Oh, it was.
harmonising.
I got that in surround sound.
Yeah.
Like Casey to the right of me and Matt to the left. It's-
And I'm stuck in the middle with you.
There's something I like about the way that we recorded this album is like, because I wasn't there for the whole recording process, there's bits of it that I hear and I'm like, oh, that's new to my ears.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we listened to it earlier and obviously I just don't have very good speakers because I was listening to it earlier and there was this guitar part that plays over part of the violin which just harmonises with the violin
Yeah,
part that
yeah.
I'd never noticed before. Like I've never heard it before.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just don't pay enough attention. But
No, you need better speakers. I think that's all it is.
that's what I love
It's all
about
very layered.
the way that we recorded this, though, is that I wasn't present for everything. So there's still little surprises in there for me. So I can still go and
Yeah.
enjoy listening to it again and again and hearing new bits and pieces.
I
which
know
is-
what you mean. Yeah, because like the way we recorded the whole album was like you guys and Jess all in a room doing like the foundation.
So that's
Right.
that's drums, bass, guitar, piano. Just
Yeah. And then we did vocals and violin over the top separately because like I guess there's similar register and also like
they're just overdub.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean also like you did lead guitar bits separately, right, Matt?
Yeah, I think for the
Yeah.
most part, yeah. I don't think there was because there's always like rhythm guitar bits in all the songs, which obviously I can't play live because I can't do both at once. But yeah, I don't think there's any exceptions actually. I think I'd just do rhythm guitar bits so that it would then fill that space out.
Yeah.
And then there's all sorts of cheeky little overdubs from various other instruments that we'll have to talk about when we get into different songs.
Yeah.
But like all sorts of bonus
Cowbell.
bonus instruments, bonus cowbell, bonus temple bells, bonus
Yeah.
double bass, bonus horns, bonus
Back of chair.
bonus backup chair. I remember that. Bonus mallets.
That is on the credits on the album.
Don't give away the whole game now.
All right, okay. Maybe we're about to get edited.
We'll have nothing to talk about for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah,
We will.
It's going to be some very short episodes after this. Yeah.
Well, I saw some research that's like people actually enjoy stuff more if they've had it lightly spoiled. So
Yeah,
the
I've
whole
heard
situation situation
Oh,
it's a
really?
lie.
Yeah, it's called the spoiler paradox or something. I think something like that. Yeah.
Oh, so if you know a spoiler's coming, then you look for the
You like
the
look for
clues.
the twist and yeah.
Yeah.
And you,
Whereas
you
if
probably
it
see
suddenly hits you, that angers you more than anything. You're just like, it's like what I was rooting for this whole time is different. Oh.
And also, if you haven't paid as much attention, which I find a lot because I'm always on my phone, as you all know, like if you haven't paid as much attention to a film or whatever,
Probably shouldn't be in the cinema.
then. No, I don't often go to the cinema though, and I should. But obviously, we just lived through COVID times. So, usually watching a film at home, I'm on my phone, paying half attention, then something interesting happens, like a twist happens, and I'm like,
Wait, what?
oh shit, what? Then, if you know the twist is coming, actually, for someone like me, I can see that would be pretty good, actually, because then you're just like, oh yeah, that's so clever, because they built up to it with all this and this and this. Yeah, I like that.
Can I get everyone on some deep shit, which is related to this actually, and which is my personal theory for why the spoiler paradox, whatever, is a thing. Which is there's a quote from Schoenberg, which is I can't quite remember, but it's like he's talking about like big style classical music, like where it's long, and he's like the goal of like long form art music is not beauty but comprehensibility. So the hard thing to do with like a long form piece like a film or a novel or a long piece of music is rather than making it beautiful, that's alright because you got loads of time to put loads of stuff in it and make it beautiful. The hard thing to do is to make it comprehensible so that what they're paying attention to, the listener is paying attention to, is the important thing and stuff like that. So I think often with spoilers, it's like it makes you pay attention to what you were supposed to be looking at, what the clues were supposed to be and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that always really informs my writing, that is like make it comprehensible rather than trying to make it beautiful.
And thematic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that as well. Yeah, I was just thinking like that doesn't. That's made me think like, oh, we should have maybe done more of that with this album. But like that's because I love concept albums.
I guess I personally really enjoy beautiful music that I can't understand. So maybe spoiler paradox is ineffective on me.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it depends what you mean by comprehensible. Because maybe you're just maybe they're so many layers ahead of you that they're just controlling what you're paying attention to, and it's like so logical and natural that you don't even notice it. Maybe
that's why I listen to music, and sometimes I'll put music on for my friends, and they just go, "This doesn't make any. This I don't like this.
I don't get it.
There's too much going on. It doesn't make sense." I think it's just like I like listening to things that I can't dissect.
Okay, yeah. Fair.
Like once you learn some music theory, like
once you learn some music theory,
you get to a point where you sort of you're listening to music analytically rather than listening to it purely for the enjoyment. And so I like listening to music that's so far ahead of me theoretically that I can't dissect what's going on. Like Tigran Hamasyan and a lot of I think that's a big reason about why so many musicians listen to Jacob Collier is because he's doing things that they just can't dissect without spending ages like transcribing everything he's doing. Yeah. You can't just listen to it and go, oh, he's doing this, because nothing he's doing is simple or basic, or at least
makes any
hardly
sense.
hardly any of it at least.
Did you want to say something about that?
No, I decided it wasn't very interesting.
Okay.
we managed to get 20-25 minutes in without me and Casey having a massive music theory nerd chat.
Well,
and I'm not going to talk about Jacob Collier because we'll be here for hours.
I was going to say actually that's made me think like even though I play like arguably the least most classical instrument, like, I have the least classical training out of all of us, don't I? Like and I've kind of been trying to catch up with these guys over the last few years, like learning a bit of music theory and stuff like that. And that's why I think that like with the two songs that I've written on this album, there's this and Keep It Westy, which is also an instrumental. Like I think it's quite interesting that like they're so much more simple, and they're supposed to be because they're folk songs, you know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of part of folk generally. You know, we went to see that folk band. What were they called?
Oh,
Kabantu.
Kabantu. I was living for it.
They were amazing.
Oh my god!
But it wasn't folk. They called themselves world music actually.
I realised when Shelley showed me, like, it was telling me about that later on, that there's a guy, the guitarist in that band, I went to uni with him, he was in
you were saying
Ben Sayer.
Yeah.
I'd just like to point back to Kabantu and say, long-time fan. I saw them play at the Whitworth Art Gallery a long time ago under the
All right, okay. So we all know Kabantu.
Under the name before they were Kabantu, they used to be called Project Jam Sandwich.
That's
a much better name. Why did they change it?
Petition for them to change their name back.
There you go. Ben, if you're listening to this,
what the hell?
Tip for you.
You need to message him. You need to message him and not say we're going to talk about this, and just be like, Ben, you got to listen to this.
Listen to this.
I reckon
might get a sound check.
You might get a shout out.
Shout out. Thank you. Name check. Shout out.
A scream out.
But the point I was going to make about Kabantu, Project Jam Sandwich, was that because we saw them as part of the Manchester Folk Festival, and they were fucking amazing, but I definitely wouldn't call them folk music because, the way the violinist was playing, she was fucking incredible, but she was doing all these really non-folk things, like changing position. For the uninitiated, that just means when you're, like, moving up the neck to play, like, higher notes, basically. Changing position and playing harmonics. And also, there was a lot of, like, vibrato and stuff as well, and I was just like, it's such a kind of a thing with folk music that, like, you don't do shit like that because it's supposed to just be, like, playing tunes in a really specific, fun way. And they don't even hold their instrument, like their bow and stuff, in the same way that classical players do. So
I'd say that depends on the kind of folk music.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about, like, British Isles and Island folk
and
music.
like old-time fiddle and kind of
there's
stuff.
room for everyone, you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
like,
yeah. I was just being pernickety.
Yeah,
and also bitter. Because she was amazing. Yeah. I mean, let's face it, I was jealous. that's why I was like, yeah, well, actually, I'm a proper folk player, so in a way I'm better than you. Actually, Yeah, fight me in real life.
Can we talk about the whistling though? Okay, we need to maybe stop on Kabantu because
The
we forget about our band.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, hang on.
Buy their album,
Yeah.
amazing.
This isn't the. Sorry, Ben. This isn't the Kabantu podcast.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Stealing the limelight from our amazing
We
band.
talk about our band now. I hope you don't mind. God.
But I want to talk about her whistling first. Which is the violinist who we're both really jealous of, and who possibly was more classically than folky, also could whistle in the most amazing way that you've ever heard. Like a blackbird singing or something, like really agile and like really wide vibrato and all this stuff. And it was really cool. I've never heard it before.
Can I also say, was it when we watched them that someone behind us dropped like a fucking bag of marbles or something? There was this really, it was amazing. Like they were playing this really atmospheric song.
A Cornish sunset. It was a Cornish sunset.
Was that what the song was called?
They were like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's
beautiful.
about a Cornish sunset.
Yeah, it was just beautiful soundscape. All this just like incredible, beautiful. I mean, everyone was just like, you could hear a pin drop in the room. It was so quiet.
Or
Or a
indeed a
bag of
bag of
marbles.
marbles.
And then, someone basically dropped something that just went all over the floor, and I could not stop fucking laughing. It was so funny.
Yeah,
'cause
just
it
like the
could not-
worst moment.
Could
which
not have been a
happened,
worse moment. Yeah. So anyway, let's stop talking about Kabantu, Ben.
Ben.
Let's just stop talking altogether, and you can listen to the song. The fact that we've been talking about another band for quite a while suggests
We've
we
run
don't.
out of steam.
Yeah.
Everyone's
On that note, here's Mavericks Assemble.
Yeah.
yeah.